Welcome to Moose's LZ Bar and Grill Weekend Wrap, where we highlight a few of the storylines that occurred in sprint car racing across the country. Before we get into those storylines, don't forget to check out Moose's LZ Bar and Grill for great food at a great price. You won't regret it. AJ Flick had one of the biggest stretches of his career this past weekend when he swept Western PA Speedweek, getting wins at Lernerville Speedway. No surprise, he's multi-time track champion there. Sharon Speedway, and then Sunday, capping everything off at Tri-City Raceway. Through each event, he beat Ryan Smith, pretty good drivers, had success out there before, and earned just north of $12,000 in prize money with his championship. Sure, I get it. I know Western PA Speedweek isn't what Ohio Speedweek is or Central Pennsylvania Speedweek is, both in competition and stature as far as purse. However, they're building something out there. I like the direction that this particular week is taking, and I can't wait to see how far it progresses in the future. That being said, one thing this weekend proved is that Flick is the best driver in the Western Pennsylvania region. This comes as really no surprise to me because over the years, Flick has had some mild success in Central PA when he's traveled to Port Royal Speedway. Sure, there have been some downs, but he's also had plenty of good moments, including 2 wins at the Juniata County Oval. I think that that's gone a long way to helping Flick develop as a driver and become better when he's back home in Western PA. Not only that, I think when he comes here, these wins will give him some confidence and he'll be able to perform against some of the locals when he does show up. Moving on, Danny Dietrich. The biggest event of the weekend, really across the country, was in Central Pennsylvania for the second weekend in a row. Last week, we had the Bob Weichert Memorial. This week, we had the Steve Smith Tribute, which paid $19,000 to the winner. No surprise, Dietrich gets the win. We said in our top 50 that he was the guy to beat and that we thought he was going to win. He did that and took top honors in the final rundown. Dietrich entered the weekend with 4 wins. It was his 5th win at Lincoln and his 60th overall at the Speedway, which puts him in good company. He's 6th on the all-time win list there, behind Brian Monteith, who I think, depending on how many times Dietrich runs there, he could get him this year or early next year. He collected the win by chasing down Anthony Macri, made him make a business decision. He didn't rough him up or anything, the two didn't touch, but he definitely forced Macri to make a call. Macri chose to stick it in and kind of brush the wall coming out of turn 4. Dietrich went in to get the win. And again, he's 6th all time. I thought this was a big moment for Dietrich in that it was a big win, which he hasn't had for quite some time. I don't know if going back to when he won the National Open, if he's had a victory in which he's earned this much money. The night, obviously, honoring a legend, Steve Smith, also makes it that much more special. Dietrich knows Brian Leppo, and Leppo was huge in putting this together. But here's the other thing. It was Dietrich's 6th win overall this season. That ties the number he had all of last year. I know everybody wanted to say that Danny Dietrich was falling off, that his string of double-digit wins was in the rearview mirror. Not the case. He has 6 wins this year. I'm anxious to see how things go the rest of 2022, and I think he's going to easily reach double digits by the time the year comes to an end. Moving on, we're going to travel outside Pennsylvania. We're going to go to Cole Duncan. Obviously, he is the king of Atomic Speedway, and he showed that last week. There's a bunch of ways, before we get into that, there's a bunch of ways you could describe Cole Duncan. I think slick track ace, sneaky good. But the one that comes to mind with him has always been underrated. And he showed that again last week. Travis Philo was leading the George Fisher Classic, or the George Fisher Memorial, worth $15,000 at Atomic on Saturday night. It featured the All-Star Circuit of Champions. Looked like he was going to get the win. Tires started to pop because the track rubbered up. That gave Cole Duncan multiple shots, and you can't do that, especially at Atomic Speedway. So Duncan gets the was able to stay close to him on the last green checker restart. Pulled the move going into turn 3, just slipped around the outside, gets the win. And again, was anybody really surprised? Not me, not only because it was atomic, but because it was dry slick, and Duncan's a master at that. Plain and simple. Duncan is a player every time he runs in Ohio. Doesn't run every race, every week, but when he does, he's prepared, and regardless of competition, he's somebody that bears watching when the A-Main rolls around. With Ohio Speedweek around the corner, I have to wonder how many shows Duncan is going to participate in and where he's going to run. I wouldn't be surprised if he's at Fremont, definitely be at Atomic, and could see him doing a couple more. Not sure if he'll do the whole thing. Regardless, when he does show up at the track, he is going to be one of the drivers to watch in the A-Main, and I wouldn't doubt if he gets a win or two. That's going to wrap up this edition of the Moose's LZ Bar and Grill Weekend Wrap. For more coverage of sprint car racing across the country, head over to sprintcarunlimited.com. Your yearly subscription's only $35. We have a weekly podcast, features, results, you name it, we have it. We'll be back next week with another edition of the Moose's LZ Bar and Grill Weekend Wrap. Stay tuned.